Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Today we're talking about breaking news for Call of Duty, massive budget cuts potentially affecting Black Ops 7, a straight up apology from the Call of Duty team about the fact that this game even exists in the first place, and some other news regarding some industry happenings, including, a DLC 2 teaser. All that and more is coming today, but first of all, we need to talk about the fact that Milo merch is on sale! Let's go! And we have hats now! It's happening! It's finally happening! You guys asked me so many times to do a no-nonsense hat, and now it exists. We're going for the wash kind of style. We've got the embroidered no-nonsense on the front just there. That's the back. We've got a metal buckle because people said they really didn't want plastic, so we went with metal. And yeah, there they are. These are on sale alongside the hoodies, which you see me wearing literally all the time, and the t-shirts, which are still, in my opinion, like the comfiest t-shirts that I own, on milomerch.com. You can see them just down here. They're on sale right now, 20% off just for the Christmas season. And crucially, if you want to get these before Christmas as a gift for boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, partner, dog, cat, fish, mum, dad, vegetable, these are the dates that you need to follow, okay? The standard shipping deadline is the 11th of December. So that's about 24 hours from now. If you do the standard shipping option, you'll be able to get any of these items before Christmas guaranteed. And then there's the fast shipping or expedited shipping deadline, which is the 16th. And then it should arrive on Christmas Eve and you'll be able to give them as gifts. So that's milomerch.com. No nonsense merch. Get some now. Hell yeah. I'm so excited that these hats actually exist now. It's been such a long time coming. I guess the next thing would be like sweatpants, joggers to go with the hoodie, maybe? Let me know if that would be of interest in the comments. So next we need to talk about this. I mean, this is scary. This is very scary stuff. Ghost of Hope has heard from a few sources, not just one, but multiple sources within the last couple of weeks, that a lot of the budget for Black Ops 7 post-launch seasons, at least the later ones, got pulled. That means it has been cut. It is gone pretty hard, given the performance of launch sales. Not sure specifically what's been impacted yet. And I said this a few weeks ago as a comment expressed purely out of fear that what I didn't want to see happen with this game was for us to get a Black Ops 4 situation where we had a promising outlook for a post-launch zombies season, and then due to whatever factors, Treyarch would reevaluate and go, actually, we need to change course. There have been rumors of 5 DLCs for Black Ops 7 Zombies, so that would be the first DLC that we've just had, Astra, and then 4 more maps on top of that. That might change if the later seasons are having their budget pulled pretty hard. And that's just so unfortunate because this game really needs that post-launch support in order to stand out, seeing as it has been selling much worse compared to expectations. We've seen the reporting saying that it has suffered its worst regional launches in its entire 20-year franchise history. We've seen the reporting saying that it sold 63% less than Battlefield 6 in Europe, and its launch weekend sales were 50% lower compared to BO6 in Europe across physical and digital. We've seen these numbers, and they have not looked good, and the counterpoint has been charts like this from Circana, where we've seen, yeah, Call of Duty is seemingly doing better than things like Battlefield 6 in 6th place. But the story that this picture is telling us is that Call of Duty has fallen to be closer in line with games like Battlefield 6, because this is while it's sold 50% less than BO6 in its launch weekend. Call of Duty should be doing significantly better than this, and they have dropped the ball. And that's where this apology comes from as well. So let's go into that now. There's a lot more to talk about on this topic. So last night, Call of Duty tweeted out a very ominous message, honestly, saying a message from the Call of Duty team. No frills, no fanfare, just sort of suspicious. And you click into the blog here, and it's this, Season 1 update, and you get to this, a message from the Call of Duty team. First off, thank you for all the feedback we've received over the last few months. Call of Duty has enjoyed long-standing success because of all of you, a passionate community that demands excellence and deserves nothing less. We also know that for some of you, the franchise has not met your expectations fully. To be very clear, we know what you expect, and rest assured we will deliver and over-deliver on those expectations as we move forward. With respect to Black Ops 7, we set our sights to deliver a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2, and the studios have poured their passion into making a great game that all of us are very proud of. But it's one thing for us to say it. More importantly, it's up to you to try it and judge for yourselves. So as it relates to Black Ops 7 and the future of Call of Duty TM, here are a few important notes. Number 1, you'll have the opportunity to play Black Ops 7 for free. Next week, we're opening the doors for everyone to jump in and play Black Ops 7 multiplayer and zombies for a free trial, along with a double XP weekend. We'd like you to experience the game firsthand and decide for yourselves. Number 2, we are committed to unprecedented seasonal support. Let me just tab back real quick to unprecedented seasonal support. Your continuing feedback will shape our seasonal updates over the coming months. Season 1 is the largest live season ever, and we're just getting started. We won't rest until Black Ops 7 earns its place as one of the best Black Ops games we've ever made. Number 3, our strategy going forward is changing. We will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or of Black Ops games. The reasons are many, but the main one is to ensure we provide an absolutely unique experience each and every year. We will drive innovation that is meaningful, not incremental. While we aren't sharing those plans today, we look forward to doing so when the time is right. To be clear, the future of Call of Duty is very strong. Please believe us, please. And we believe our best days are ahead of us, given the depth and talent of our development teams. We've been building the next era of Call of Duty TM, and it will deliver precisely on what you want, along with some surprises that push the franchise and the genre forward. We look forward to welcoming you in, listening to you, and moving forward together. I mean, it's just a tragic message, isn't it? It reads like a eulogy at a funeral, bro. Like, what is this? I responded to their tweet, okay? Because they tweeted this out, right? And my immediate response when I read it last night, just before I went to bed, was to say, the way this is written makes it sound like internally, Activision is absolutely disintegrating right now, and they're just hoping nobody will notice. The post has actually made me more concerned than prior to reading it. Like, I can't believe this has come out. It's mind-blowing, and I'm gonna be transparent and frank here. It's good. Like, it's absolutely a good thing. I'm not criticizing them for having done it by any means. I'm just saying it's actually mind-blowing to even see it in the first place. Call of Duty, which usually is so egregious in the way that it will manipulate statistics to make it seem like it's the biggest thing on planet Earth and you should buy COD before you buy bread and put that on the table for your family on any given Tuesday. Like, that Call of Duty coming to us here with its tail between its legs, saying, we promise that the future of the franchise is very strong. We promise. Please come back. Please play the game for free. Like, I just can't believe that this is the timeline we're in. It's so weird. It's so weird. And you scroll Twitter about this, and it's comment after comment about the back-to-back releases thing. Like, Arc Raiders and BF6 beat Call of Duty into making a better product. Nero saying this has to be one of the worst selling and performing titles in franchise history. The reception must have been terrible. And then, I mean, Hope's words, not mine. Along with some surprises that push the franchise and the genre forward. Jesus Christ. And I have to say, like, what Pomage is saying here, where it felt weird getting BO6 and then BO7, I straight up told them, I was such a pain in the ass when I went to Treyarch and I played the game early this year, and I would play you the audio if I could, because I have it on my phone of me sitting in the crowd, right? It's Kevin Drew and it's all the Treyarch leadership on stage at the front of the kind of Treyarch like cinema room, basically, the little theater where they showcase stuff internally at the studio early, right? So I was there, all these other creators are there to play Black Ops 7 early, and there's this tiny little opportunity for Q&A, and these moments are few and far between on record Q&A, and so I'm like, okay, I have to jump straight into the fact that we've just had BO6, and now we're just getting BO7, which just feels like BO6 again, but like a bit better, but it's the same game. Like, what are we doing? So I said, what are you doing to justify the purchase price? That was my first opening question, and their answer was so unsatisfactory. It was so bad. And it was weird to me that there wasn't more aggressive pressing of them on that point from media outlets and from all sorts. It just felt like they kind of just had a soft run up to the game in trying to do this. And I mean, clearly, very, very evidently, the actual sales have spoken for themselves, and that's why they're suddenly having to pivot and saying, oh, we'll never make this mistake ever again. Like, we could have all seen that coming a mile away. So as much as this is not the key story here, it is important for me, as the guy that everyone says is always negative and blah, 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 it's important for me to say, I might be critical of this franchise, right? Frequently. I may do that, but I'm fucking right. And this is evidence of it. Like, I made my videos at the time, and it was this video right here. I played Black Ops 7 Zombies' brutally honest thoughts from me playing it early. And when I said this, I meant it. Like, I was not beating around the bush.
So if that's the case, then... So that was sort of the first point that Kevin was making. The second...
All right, that particular bit was, yeah, the gun was to my head, okay? But what I'm more so focused on right now is like this question, right? And this following question that I asked in the Q&A is what it all boils down to, right? If they'd been able to adequately answer this question, they would have been able to sell infinitely more units of the game, because the whole BO6 to BO7 problem would have been so much less of a thorn in everyone's side.
What core systems changes are you making to distinguish this game from Black Ops 6 so that people feel it is worth the purchase price?
Answer, not enough. Clearly not enough. And you know, it's important to seek balance in these sorts of scenarios. So like with regard to what Hope was reporting about that then causing budget to be pulled, Charlie and Tel have responded and said, from what they've heard, they've had their post-launch plans set in stone, presumably, for a while. They told me that they have endgame content confirmed through Season 3, and other modes will have expected content cadence for all seasons. And so Hope then says, it's possible it just lines up with my original report, which is that Seasons 1 to 4 has a bunch, and they slow it down in 5 and 6. But that does still directly contrast with what Call of Duty themselves keep saying about how they've got more than ever before to come, and how they're trying to make it so that this game earns its place in the Black Ops canon and blah, blah, blah. So it's hard to extract exactly what this is ultimately going to look like, whether it will mean we get 4 DLC maps total instead of 5, or whether it will mean that we get more of the sort of LTM stuff in place of things that could have been bigger events for zombies or more exciting moments in the zombies live service. All I know is I completely clocked out of Black Ops 6 during the LTM seasons because I thought that they were just straight up boring slop, and I fully intend to do the same this year, to be completely frank. And this has massive implications for creators as well. I mean, you look at something like this. This is the Astra Malorum Easter egg guide in comparison to the Ashes of the Damned Easter egg guide viewership over the first 3 days, okay? And the charts are tracking basically neck and neck with one another. They're very much in line, suggesting that the people that were looking for my guides for Ashes have all continued to keep trying to do the Easter egg in Astra, which is good, right? This is a good sign. But the problem is that when you compare this to, for example, and my Astra guide has, I think, the most overall views out of like everyone that's made Easter egg guides on it, so we can use my content as a little bit of a temperature gauge for the overall reception of the game, right? And like how it's performing. And so we could say, okay, let's compare this to DLC 1 for Black Ops 6, right? That'll be an interesting comparison. Oh, Oh no. Oh, that's really bad. That's Astra down there. I mean, it's actually, it's Ashes in this case, but the chart is the exact same. So blue line Astra, purple line Citadel, both DLC 1 for their respective games. That right there is as perfect an illustration as you will ever get of franchise fatigue. It is immediately obvious what's going on here. And I mean, like, I'm not only going to be probably tapping out during the LTM seasons, but I also have to evaluate, well, can I continue to hire as many people, for example, to work on my overall content production when the game itself can't support that? Can I continue to invest all of my time into a franchise which is suddenly taking a nosedive in this way? Like, this would be an example of a case where I might be forced to take on more sponsor work in order to actually just survive business-wise over the drought of content that we're no doubt going to be getting. Or is this a sort of thing that is going to push me further towards other games? Now, the thing is I love zombies, so I'm always going to be here. I love the game at the end of the day, but like there are broader consequences is what I'm saying for folks in my sort of position, creators that are trying to do this full time, who have to sort of look at the performance of the underlying product and go, this is suddenly feeling like something that's a bit less comfy to be aligned with. And in combination with that, when I'm making videos like this one, being like, I turned down COD Next this year because I didn't feel like it would be an environment that I'd be comfortable in. Like, there's always a weird vibe at COD Next. And then, what, a day or 2 days later, this happens with John? Like, it's just sign after sign after sign that not only is there franchise fatigue, but the entire stack of cards that Call of Duty is built on has problems and issues in a million different places. And all of those things need to be addressed and worked on if they're going to turn this ship around. And I hope that what these sorts of things are going to push them towards and what their response is going to push them into doing is actually taking on that challenge in all areas. I'm hopeful because I love zombies at the end of the day and I want it to do well. It's just, there is some deep rot in the construction of all of this that really needs to be worked out. Now, speaking of rot, what a transition. We've seen this statue. I'm sure you've seen it over the last couple of weeks. It turned up in the desert. People were like, what the hell? What game is this? My suspicion was that it was for Call of Duty Vanguard, the best recent Call of Duty game, especially the zombies mode. But it actually turns out that we know what it is now. It's for Divinity Original Sin 3. So if you're a fan of the Divinity franchise, then get excited. Also, I need to report on this. Alpha Omega looking a little different? Yeah, so we thought we were going to Alpha Omega in the next map, right? But in the end cutscene for Astra, the gaming revolution successfully noticed, and honestly, props to him for this, because this was a theory that almost harks back to the days of like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, I guess, kind of, but almost more like a Black Ops 2 era thing, where there's something super obscure in the game that people then make their kind of crackpot conspiracy theories about. Like it feels like the good old days in some ways, but he noticed that in the end cutscene in the portal, you can see some kind of image, and that image is in the game files, and it's this. So this is where the entity's head kind of gets sucked to when we're getting sucked to maybe Alpha Omega, maybe Hell, or wherever it's going to be. And I mean, it looks very weird. Looks very, very weird. If one side is meant to be one of the Nuketown houses and the other's meant to be the other, like, I certainly don't recognize this Alpha Omega at all. And that's a good sign, because if we were just getting, like, a remaster instead of a remake, I'd be pretty bearish on that DLC. But yeah, this is looking really good so far. Now, I didn't save it, but I did see somebody, like, AI upscaled this, and I just want to make a comment about AI and the use of AI in these sorts of things. My personal opinion is that it's really actually unhelpful, because if you take an image like this, which is blurred in the game files, like the blur that you are seeing on the screen right now is the blur that is there in the file itself. So if you take something like this and you use AI to make a best guess of what you might be looking at, and you can use a million different programs to do this. First of all, you give people completely false impressions of what it actually looks like. Like, people start taking the AI upscaled version as the verbatim factual version in the files because it looks 4K, so they don't know any better. They don't know what the game files look like. So I think it muddies the conversation in that way. I think it also is it's like a weird indicator that a complete lack of brain power and imagination is being applied to the conversation. Like, if you used an artist to explore artists' renditions of what it might look like unblurred, that's one thing where they would be taking their own creative imagination and putting it into the image and coming up with like an artist's rendition, right? Like quite literally, it's in the name. And you might go to that artist and say, oh, I think that like, actually we should do this kind of way. And you would direct them, right? You would be art directing and they would be making that come to life and manifesting it for you, right? Which is the wizardry the artists are capable of. That's part of the reason that whole career exists in the first place. They're amazing. But it requires that two to tango scenario there. And then if you get AI involved, you replace the artist with that and you just start prompting that. You're not an artist, right? And this is something I've heard from Brandon Sanderson as well, is his sort of view on this is very much the same. You're not an artist, you're just directing this machine to give you some kind of approximation of what it might look like. But that approximation is based on other art that you have no idea whether or not is actually relevant to the thing you're trying to create the image of. Like, you're not saying to the AI, hey, Mr. AI, I want you to do this, and I want you to show me the exact path that you've gone on to get to that conclusion, and show me all of the reference images that you've seen to build on here that have informed your decision making. And like, you don't know if the thing that it's basing its best guess on is like some other slop that's completely irrelevant, right? You just don't know. So I would really urge the community to try and be wary of not even just the fact that AI is a thing in the first place. Like, I think that there's a lot of just like anti-AI sentiment that is almost in name alone, and it's not actually that helpful to the conversation to just be like, well, it's AI, I hate it. Like, I don't think that's actually that helpful either. But when you reason it out, as I'm trying to do now, and try to demonstrate why it might be a problem, I think that is a valuable contribution to the conversation. And it's really important to not let your own brain power be eroded by just entirely relying on these systems to think for you. And I see it time and time again. I see people trying to solve zombies ciphers with AI, and it comes up with some completely nonsense result. And then they email me and they're like, Milo, you have to see this right now. Your management who control your email inbox, they have to tell you that I've solved the Revelation cipher and it's talking about my favorite sandwich order. And there's absolutely no critical thinking being applied to the fact that maybe actually the Revelation ciphers are not talking about a sandwich order, and maybe actually the AI has come up with some hallucinated nonsense, and you're just failing to apply any critical thinking to that because you don't know what it's doing, and it's a black box, and you're just not helping the conversation in any way, shape, or form. And I know you want to help, but it's not helpful. Like, it's a hill that I will die on every single day of my life until the day that I'm truly dead. That's a weird phrase. But I see it time and time again. I see it in my chat. I'll be trying to solve an Easter egg, bro. On stream, I'll be trying to solve the Astra Easter egg, and I'll have people in chat saying, I asked ChatGPT, and this is the next step. Like, I'm not making that up. It's terrifying. The lack of critical thinking that I see on display makes me worried for the future of humanity. I'm going to be straight up. So, just a warning, please, use your brains. Please, I'm begging you. All right, moving on to something that's not AI, because it's in the game files. Widow's Wine seems to be returning. I mean, there's a few different renders that different people have done. This is one that Nanakos has shared, and I think Margwa was sharing this as well, but the image got deleted or something. Yeah, seems like Widow's Wine is returning. Low-key, I feel like this might be one of the first times they've redesigned a perk machine, and I haven't immediately been like, that redesign slaps. I'm not sure if I love this model, but also it's early days. It might change by the time it gets to the game itself. What I will say is it is more just remastered stuff. And I've said this time and time again, and I'm going to keep saying it. I would like to see a world where we actually get some new stuff and it's consistent, and that's all we get. I think the endless remasters and remakes and remasters and remakes is part of the contribution to the problem that we're seeing with franchise fatigue. It's just so much of the same thing. So, like, as much as I like the way that Widow's Wine works as a perk, it's old, and I don't want old. I want new. Now, speaking of AI and speaking of using other artists' work without permission and all that sort of stuff, the Anti-Real account has tweeted that the Marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive to my satisfaction. So what this probably means is that they've been paid a very large amount of money, which I'm glad for because this should never have happened in the first place. as much as I am a big Bungie fan, as much as I love Destiny, as much as I quite enjoyed my time with Marathon as well, actually, the fact that there was thieved art in the game was obviously never a good look. I think there was a lot of bluster around this on top of the core problem because of the fact that people really detest Bungie in the way that they do. But even with the bluster accounted for, that still doesn't take away from the fact that their art should never have been lifted and put in the files. And the artist that did that made a massive error, and the management above them made a massive error in not catching that and not having the right systems in place to make sure that that didn't happen. So I'm glad that it has been resolved to their satisfaction. It's one more thing sort of crossed off the list, you could say, as we approach a Marathon release, presumably in relatively early next year, which needed to be resolved in order for that game to have any kind of legs whatsoever. So I'm really glad to see this tweet, and I'm happy for Anti-Real as well. So that's it for today's news. Milo merch is waiting for you. Place those orders in the next 24 hours if you want the order to arrive before Christmas and you don't want to pay for expedited shipping, or you can pay for expedited shipping and order as late as the 16th, okay? You got 5 days for that one, so lock in. I'm really excited to get this stuff into your guys' hands. And when you buy, there's actually a little field which allows you to put a message in there, and I can read those messages and I can respond. So what I did last year for Christmas is I got like a random selection of those, and I did like video responses to people being like, hey, here's your new hoodie, Merry Christmas, etc. So feel free to make requests in that comment field, and I'll pick a selection of those to do custom, sort of like almost like a cameo responses for as well. So thanks, guys. I'll see you on the merch site, milomerch.com. Bye for now.